Something happened in this negotiation that didn't go so well. We don't know. They haven't gone to the press about it. They've both been very quiet. But we knowing how the Niners do business, Parag, they can play some hardball sometimes. And yes. Nick Bosa is one of these types of A1 top tier athletes that maybe doesn't respond too well to that kind of talk. Can you explain how you have to sort of handle the best athletes in the world, the Jerry Rices, the Jose Cansecos, the Nick Bosas?
This is I've told Iggy this since he was a little boy. This is very interesting. I knew Jim Lefevre very well. He was a coach with the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's. And, he played for the Dodgers, second baseman, was a Rookie of the Year. He was a considerable person and somebody I really care for. So I was in the Oakland A's locker room, clubhouse, I should say, after a midweek game. And I was chatting with Lefevre. And at one point, Canseco, who was at that time having a monster year, walked by. And Jimmy Lefevre started chatting with him. And I'll never forget, he said, make a muscle. And Canseco had really big muscles because I guess he was a steroid guy. And Jimmy was saying, wow, what a bicep. He said, you're such a stud, Jose. We really need you. And then Jose was charmed and walked away. And Lefevre said to me, you see what I did, Lowell? I said, I did, Jimmy. He said, when you have a superstar, you have to massage his ego. Right. You want them to have a big ego and you want them to feel good about their ego and feel good about themselves. That way they can go out and kick ass. And he said, that's what I do with these people. Well, let's go back to Bosa. Mm-hmm. You have a guy with an ego probably bigger than Canseco's. I mean, right?
Oh, like we think Kyle Shanahan's ego is big. Imagine Nick Bosa.
Right. It's as big as Alaska, right?
God's gift to football. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And for him, he thinks, I believe, that in order for me to be the best possible Nick Bosa and bring us to a Super Bowl, they need to make me feel more special than any defensive player who has ever played in the NFL. And they could show that by giving me everything I ask for. And Jimmy Lefevre would give it to him because he knows he needs it. His ego needs it to be great.
Yeah, from Bosa's perspective, who the hell are the 49ers? He's Nick Bosa. Yep. It's a privilege that he gets to play, that they get him on his team, and he could go to any team and make them special. That's what he thinks. And I feel like that he's that kind of guy. He's a defensive player of the year. You want that kind of ego on your team.
Exactly.
Why would you try to tear it down in the negotiations if you did? Because remember, we talked a couple weeks ago and you said stuff like you could talk to him about his injuries and this and that. I don't know how well that's going to go over. If that's the road you want to go down with Nick Bosa and take him down a peg and humble him, I don't think it's going to work. You probably should just get rid of him.
That's interesting. I just want to say, I don't know how sensitive to these things Parag or Jed are, but savvy organizations understand superstars need to be treated differently.
Correct. So their options were massage Nick's ego, give him what he wants, be happy to have him on your team, or trade him. They went with option C. Try to negotiate. And they dragged it out and they thought, well, maybe if we take this to the end of the off season and the prospect of him missing game checks comes up, he'll cave. Nope, didn't work that way. This isn't Debo. This isn't Fred Warner. This isn't a tight end or a middle line. This is the number one non-quarterback in football, according to everyone. You're not going to win this negotiation. You have two options. Give him what he wants or trade him. And you chose option C. Shame on you.
Right. It makes them, especially I would say to the players on the team and fans, it makes the Niners look chintzy. It does.
And unrealistic.
Now, again, I am not taking sides. I'm trying to explain how players feel and how you treat a superstar. I'm not taking sides because it's all about greed, and I'm too old and too poor to care about greed.
From the player's perspective, the chintzy word, it's like if they can make a case against Bosa and make Bosa come down from we're all screwed. Like none of us can make a case against this front office. So I do think they're sort of rooting for Bosa and scratching their head at the front office. Let's take some super chats real quick and see what the people think. The people. West Coast Jay says, only donate when Papa Cohn is on. Thank you, West Coast Jay.
Thank you.
Jay McCallan says, hot take, Niners will sabotage Brandon Ayuk for his contract. I hope not. I hope not. Antonio says, I hope I am wrong, but I just feel the window is officially closed. Too many distractions. Poor O-line, tough games, tougher schedule. Lowell, the greatest of all time.
Thank you. Antonio, I think you have a point. I don't think it's good to start a season with so much chaos. And the idea that the other day, Monday, I guess, the players had to answer questions about Discord. What Discord? And that's what it really amounts to.
Right.
Management and players not getting along. They're not supposed to be thinking about that. They're supposed to be thinking about the Steelers. They're supposed to be thinking about how are we going to destroy this tough defense? And they're answering questions about this. That's not a good way to start.
Yeah, I mean, this team has been right there the last 2 years. They've had slow starts. They're talking, if we just get a fast start, maybe we'll win the Super Bowl. If they have a slow start because of Bosa, because they couldn't get Bosa signed, and then they have the same thing where they finish fast and go to the playoffs and don't quite make it, it feels like someone's got to get fired. It wasn't injuries. It wasn't bad luck. It was self-inflicted stupidness.
Self-inflicted stupidness.
Nuclear energy. Stupidity. That's the word. Thought experiment. If we did trade Bosa, what quarterback could we get in return?
Oh,
it's a little late to make. It's a little late to make that trade now. No one's trading their quarterback 2 days before the season. D Pacheco 82 says, "Good job, guys. Trade him if he doesn't play week 1." We'll talk. We'll talk about that. Mr. Cohn just finished gloves off. Great stories. Says Miwook Sniper.
Oh, you made my day. Thank you so much.